What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video today. We got a special guest, someone from my childhood, uh, the brand new sensation on YouTube. Boom, Damian Porter. You want to use that name, right? Not
Yeah,
what we
that's
grew up
fine.
with.
That's
Okay,
fine.
cool. So, Damian came on the scene. How long ago did you get on YouTube?
I started in late November. Uh, like towards the end of November, almost the beginning of December. But it was November, maybe November 20
So
or
about
something.
7, 8 months ago, basically.
Yeah.
And how many subscribers do you have right now?
Uh, right now I have 15,000 and some change.
There you
15,200.
go. There you go. So I have the name of the channel scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Do me a favor. This is a friend of mine. Go ahead, subscribe to his channel. He's got a lot of good content. Um, Unfortunately, YouTube being what it is with the trolls. How you like the trolls?
uh,
They got time on their hands, right?
they got a lot of time. Yeah.
Got a lot of time and a lot to say,
A lot
right?
to say.
But on my end, people thought there was some hold on, Damon's beautifying. We'll just ignore that. Uh we're gonna but nah, so on my end, people want to say, oh, he only wants to, make the blacks look good. And then I'm on his end, him and other, oh, Dubs is a racist. And so I mean, we can't win for losing, right?
Yes, that's true. I mean, I was saying the other day on my channel that they called me the black version / Hoover version of Dubs.
Do they?
Yeah, that's what somebody said in the comment.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. I've always said this. Look, if there's a lane for trolls, then they're gonna keep doing their thing. The only way to shut the trolls down is if nobody watches, right?
Yeah,
But when the trolls get in my chats, my live streams, whatever, if they can make me laugh, I don't block them. As soon as they get disrespectful to me or my guests or other subscriber commenters, whatever, that's when I block them.
right.
But and it's a trip because people want to say whatever they want to say, not knowing either one of us, and yet here we are still chopping it up. So that should go along with, because I already know there's certain YouTube creators, there's a couple black ones that are about to say you sold out for getting on here with me.
Oh shit. They already said
And we will not say their names because let me tell you something, Damien, that's all they want.
Yeah. No, my sister told me about this one dude, supposed to be an OG dude, I guess maybe from Compton, that made a video.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I still haven't seen a video because I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Which one is it?
Which person is it?
No. Which video is it? Is it of me?
No, I don't know. I guess maybe it's a you, because I know he was talking about you in the video too, saying that you
can't stop talking about me.
Yeah, that you were racist or whatever, according to
yeah.
what my family told me about the video. But also in that video, he went on to say that I was a sellout and a Southsider lover. You know what I'm saying? Because I made a follow-up video saying, "Is Dubs racist?" No, not in my view. And I said what I said. Yeah. So then he takes umbrage to that, I guess, and goes to his video and say, "Well, no, Dubs is racist," because somebody was saying in the comments, well, China, that's me.
Yeah.
16 Alive, Chill, and Cartoon, that we tread lightly. This is what the comments said, that we tread lightly on our channel. But that such and such, this one person and another person, that they go hard. That we only tell stories about, they said, man, y'all have a million stories about blacks on blacks and blacks assaulting whites. But when it comes to the Southsiders, y'all don't have no stories about that. Y'all treading real lightly. And so I just put out a video and just trying to explain to him that it's not that I'm treading lightly. It's just that I'm not going to fabricate a story, and sensationalize a story just for views. At the end of the day, most of the crimes that are committed from one ethnic group to another is committed by that same ethnic group.
Exactly.
You
Yes.
know, and so since prison is a microcosm of the society, just like in society where the vast majority of the people that you have to worry about come from your own race, it's the same thing inside of prison.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm telling stories about black on black incidents because most of the incidents in prison involve black on black.
Exactly. And people don't get that.
There have been just a few riots.
Yes.
Overall, I mean, people be shot. It's just in the county jail, that's one thing. But in prison, it's a reason that the Pelican Bay riot still lingers on 20-some-odd years later, because it's really a rarity when you go back into the history, except maybe back in the days with the BGF versus the, the MA or whatever. But, fast forward to with everything being factionalized between my people anyway, and we really started going at each other. There were more race riots or whatever when there was more black pride in the 60s and the 70s, whatever, there in prison. But once we fractured off and became factionalized, this tribalism entered into our society, then we began to go at each other's necks. So most of the stories that I have are about us going at each other's necks. Well, only because most of the incidents that I can recall is us going at each other's necks.
Yes. And that goes for every faction. And I said that in one of my last videos when this whole racism thing, I said, I want somebody to tell me the last riot that happened between blacks and Mexicans. I said, don't tell me about the Pelican Bay one. Don't tell me about the 1996 New Folsom one. Leave those two huge riots out. Tell me, because people had this just like North and South. I'm like, I've been on yards with Northerners. People think it's on site every time they come out, the blacks, Mexicans, and nah, man. And and like you said, and I've mentioned this before, when it came to when I had to deal with, have a conversation with black leaders on the yard, right? Yeah. I could go to the Bloods, and I don't like to say the names, but there's a 2-letter faction and there's a 3-letter faction for the Bloods, right? Yeah. I could go to one of either, right, and holler at them. All the Bloods are gonna know what time it is. When it came to the Crips, I had to talk to 7 different dudes, 5, 6, 7 different dudes, because this crew can't tell these. I used to be like, damn, it's never a good thing when you have to go and talk serious issues with that many people, because then you don't know where it's going. You know what I mean? Right. But as far as people talking about,
it wasn't always that way. Even with the Crips, they really had a couple of just a couple of organizations that you would have been able to go to, but then they too became fractured and separated, because the factionalism, it enters into the black community, and we don't thwart it. We subscribe to it, and because of that, we end up going at each other's throats. That's the bottom line, But as far as the race issues in there, these people, when I get those kind of comments, I know they haven't been in prison.
Exactly.
Or they haven't been to the prisons that I've been to. They haven't been to the level 4s or whatever. If they think that we, the Southsiders and the blacks, are really any group is going at it with each other like that, then they're just mistaken. The North is not going at it with the South. We all have to coexist. So
they don't understand. Like, look, as far as let's say, I'm gonna say for the Southerners, right? And it's not just the Southerners, but I'm gonna talk about the no hands policy, and people act like, oh, dudes are afraid. Like, hey, it cracks me up when they're like, oh, okay, hold on, let me get sidetracked for a minute. Back to the whole racism thing. Did you ever? I don't even know if you heard when Big U told the story. Whack 100 set him up for it though, that he knocked out 32 Southsiders in one riot.
Right. I heard about that. Somebody,
and I was like, how is that? Because I get in the comment sections, it will take 10 Mexicans to be able to take down one black. And I'm like, oh, I was in the youth authority. We fought, me and you fought. We would go, Mexicans and blacks went heads up all the time in YA. But somehow once we hit the CDC, we're afraid to fight. No, what it is, you and I as individuals, what do we mean? We mean nothing in there. When you're dealing with a faction, the whole means more than the individual.
Absolutely.
So if I go in there and I'm 19, 20 years old and you somehow, some way offend me, man, my motherfucking feelings don't mean nothing to everybody else that's been in there 30 years and they're trying to make a living. There's businesses in place. And that's what people don't get. Riots are bad for business. Lockdowns are bad for business. You have organizations in there, you got factions in there that are trying to make money. And at least for the Southerners, if you fucking off somebody's money, there better be a damn good reason why that money got fucked up. You know, and people don't, they just think, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want. Maybe in other states, but California is so political for a purpose, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And California is very political. And oftentimes, every faction tries to circumvent riots. You know what I mean? No one wants to get involved in a riot. No group wants to get involved
and
in a
it's
riot.
Not out of fear. It's out of business. We got to live here. Yeah.
That's right. It's out of business. And it's out of the fact that for the most part, we all trying to make it out of there alive. You know, so if violence is not absolutely necessary, sometimes it is, you know, but if it is not absolutely necessary, then yeah, sometimes we try to find a way to circumvent it, make violence a last resort.
Absolutely. The only ones, and everybody knows this, that's been through anything, whether it's prison wars or you know, you have military veterans, the only ones eager to rush into war are those that have never been in it. That's because once you've been in riots, once you've been through wars, it's senseless, homie. It changes nothing. After it's over, it changes not a motherfucking thing. Your cell didn't get bigger. You weren't able to buy more at canteen. You didn't get more privileges on the phone. You got fucked out of everything and went and sat in the back for a while. That's it. Right. How much time total? Like, I know you did on the installment plan. How much time total did you do?
Total, I did.
And you can count YA.
Counting YA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did upwards of 30 years total.
Damn, you did more than me, big dog.
I did about 30 years total because...
Oh, no, counting YA, I did almost 30, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I was just, I was in and out. I was caught in that revolving door. The recidivism rate is extremely high amongst our communities. It's you know, there's a laundry list of reasons for that. But this is not to ascribe blame elsewhere. At the end of the day, I want to take accountability for my own actions. You know, I did commit those crimes, those robberies, and end up in prison. You know, but at the same time, however, you know, I would be remiss in my duties, I believe, if I didn't point out, however, that the system indeed is fixed. All right, the system is indeed a racist system. In fact, this is really irrefutable because the statistics show, this is not Damian Porter talking, this is the facts. The statistics show that from beginning to the end of the system, it is corrupted, meaning that the facts show that blacks, so from start to finish, so start at the arrest, okay, or the pullover. First, obviously, blacks are put over at an exorbitant rate, okay, in relation to whites. We're put over more. The statistics then show that once we're put over, we're more likely than anyone else to be arrested once we're put over, because they may pull over some whites, but they're still not going to arrest them. Okay, so we're more likely to be put over. Once put over, we're more likely to be arrested than our counterparts, and once arrested, we're more likely to be sent to trial than any other group. And once sent to trial, we have a higher probability of being found guilty once we go to trial. And once we're found guilty, we're sentenced at a higher rate than our counterparts. This is the facts. You can look it up. So from start to finish, the system is tainted. However, you have to get yourself involved in the system to experience this racism.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that, because that's where I was going to go with it.
And I got myself involved in the system because there are many black men, though the system targets them, and that's what it does, they have still been able to circumvent the system. They have not been in prison. They have not been in jail. They have not been arrested. So I can't say it's because I'm black, because there are many blacks who have never been arrested.
I'm glad you said that, because that's where I was going to go, because I wanted to play devil's advocate, because I've said the same thing. You know, when I was caught up in my criminality, my criminal mindset, man, I blamed the cops for arresting me. I blamed the DA for charging me. I blamed the jury for convicting me. But at the same time, I really did go out there and do those things. I made them do their job. And it wasn't until I realized I'm making these dudes do this that I was able to get out of that mindset, right? Now, you brought up something, and I want to ask you a question, because me personally, I can't stand this whole thing where it's Southerners only get off when they have numbers. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. You can only speak your truth. I have never, ever, ever been on a 180 yard, a level 4 yard, where the Southerners by themselves outnumbered all of the black population on the yard. Have you ever seen that? Where they outnumbered all Crips, Bloods, Kumis, Muslims, non-affiliated blacks. Every yard I've been on, there's been at least 500 blacks. At least. That I have never been on a yard where there's 200 Southerners.
I don't know. I would have to think of if there's a situation where the Southsiders outnumbered the blacks, but typically, for the most part, either the numbers are even, or sometimes we may have more numbers, you know. But there's a rare situation, if any, where the Southerners that I can think of off the top of my head just outnumbered the blacks, because
blacks are look at. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to clarify this, because people say, well, if you look at the population of California, a lot of Mexicans don't get involved in crime. You know, in Nevada, yeah. But the thing is, blacks, for the most part, you don't really hear of blacks in lower levels. They're usually in the 3s and 4s only. So they're concentrated in 3s and 4s. And I try to let people know, like, I don't care what the population is. If you're looking at yard population, I have never, ever seen a yard where Southerners had more than 200 dudes on the yard. There's 1,000 people on the yard. Whites only make up about 70, 80. The Paisas are about 30 deep. The Asians and others are about 40, 50 deep. Northerners, if they're there, 30 deep. So what's left? The blacks. They've always, when you group them all together, and then even then, I'm like, Southerners don't get along with everybody as far as Mexicans, you know. But anyways, I just wanted to ask that question. And now I wanted to point something out, because I don't think people get the picture. I don't know if it's my camera or my chair, but I look a whole lot bigger than you. How fucking, tell these people, I want them to know, how big was your big ass when you were in YA, man? Because you and that one dude from 805 Crips that was in Avenal, you were the two biggest dudes there. One store from SOS left.
Yeah. Well, in YA, I probably was about maybe 6'2" or 3", maybe. I'm 6'6" and some change now.
I swore you're like
maybe 6'4", maybe 6'4".
Yeah.
I think I grew a little since then, you know. But I was a big dude. A lot of people, like, even when I tell them on my channel that I'm 6'6", they don't believe it. Like, man, you 6 because I be sitting down a lot or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it just, you know, they can't appreciate the full picture. But I'm a pretty big dude.
Yeah, I remember in YA, I was like, this motherfucker's humongous.
Yeah.
Because remember, in the Pomo, you slept directly across from me. I was on the bunk bed. I think who was my Bebop was next to me. I can't remember who was above me. But anyways, one thing I wanted to ask too, I got sidetracked when I asked you about how much time you have done. I want to go back to how you mentioned how you, Chill, and what's Cartoon. You guys, you know, they want to paint you guys with a certain picture because you're not pushing the hatred that some want you to push. And I applaud that, because you can get caught in a trap if you start pushing that narrative. You know, if you want to be successful, anybody wants to be successful on YouTube, one, you got to be genuine, right? And two, you got to be all inclusive. Once you start putting yourself in a box, that box is where you will remain, right?
Yeah.
And when talking about you and Chill did 24 years. I did 24 years straight you guys are speaking from your own personal experiences, right?
Yeah,
Cartoon did time. He's older than us, so he did time back when all the factions were out, I think, right? So
yeah,
he's speaking. But one thing that I think we all three channels have in common is when we speak of the rival factions in there, we speak with respect because we have bumped heads, and through time, you will learn to respect those rivals. You know what I mean? Even if
yes,
you don't agree with ideologies, you respect that at least they're willing to stand for something.
absolutely. And the thing is, like I say, the people who want to foment this YouTube beef have
Mm-hmm.
never really been involved in anything. That's why, as I said, I didn't even go watch the video that people were
Mm-hmm.
saying in my comments about the dude that was speaking on me. I didn't want to give him any life,
Don't.
or give him any of my energy, because at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, this is just the internet. This is just YouTube. You know what I mean? Face to face, I know for a fact no
Yeah.
one's going to call me a sellout. Nobody's going to come in my face
Yeah. Yeah.
and say that I'm a sellout, or that I don't support my people, or whatever it is. You're not going to say it. You know what I'm saying? I promise you. So, but you can say it on YouTube, and I'm not going to go back and forth with you on YouTube. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually lived a life, and there's really nothing to celebrate or nothing to be
Mm-hmm.
proud of. So me recounting these stories and embellishing them and making the Southsiders look a certain way and
Mm-hmm.
making us look a certain way really does me or my people no justice when
Mm-hmm.
we're here fighting still, uh, uh, you know, centuries later for our standing in this country. And so for
Mm-hmm.
me to get on YouTube and to trivialize what it is that we go through in this country and narrow it down to a fight with the Southsiders in prison when there's a much bigger picture is beyond me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it serves no purpose. Like I always say, like when people say, "Oh, Dubs," he never talks about taking losses. This and if I got it in my mind to tell stories about who won and who lost, I'm glorifying and glamorizing a faction, whatever that faction is. Every video that I put out, this video, any video I put out, one, I want to create a positive thought in your mind and hopefully positive change. And if that positive thought or positive change comes from you realizing where I made mistakes and you saying, I don't want to make those mistakes, then I did my job. But the last thing I'm ever going to do is try to make it seem as though that lifestyle that we lived was glamorous or is cool or is where or something I want your kids, mine, my neighbor's kids to even want to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? Like to me,
Right.
it's dead.
Right. It is dead. And our job really at this juncture in our lives, since we've already lived a life, as far as
Mhm.
I'm concerned, is to give back to our society, to give back to our community. And the way that we give back is to really give them the
Mhm.
information that will help them av- avoid the same pitfalls that
Mhm.
we found ourselves involved in.
Mhm.
Why would I want to see anyone live that kind of life behind the walls, behind prison walls, when I personally know I have a firsthand account that that life really amounts to nothing.
Yeah. And when we were growing up, I've said this a lot in videos. When we were growing up, we only knew what was inside our house and outside our front door, right? So if you were in a home of violence and criminality, you knew that. If you went outside your house and you saw gang members and violence, that's what you knew. These kids now, these motherfucking phones right here, they got the world in the palm of their hand. They
Yes,
can see so many things that we didn't understand back then. And I
right.
think that's part of the reason why California isn't the way it used to be. I'm glad, man. And now let me spin off into something else before we go. Um, so there's this platform. I'm sure you heard of it. No Jumper. I don't know if you have any intentions of going there, so I don't want to put you in a bad spot. But on No Jumper, I see all these dudes, and I don't know their histories. I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but I see these dudes that were supposedly street dudes allowing themselves to be manipulated on that channel. And I'm talking Mexicans, blacks, whatever. And I'm like, damn, California is different now.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
I'm knowing.
I have conflicting feelings about that. I've just seen a couple of clips
Mhm,
from No Jumper. I've heard some about No Jumper. Of course, Adam 22, a couple of clips may pop up on my feed.
mhm.
And so I'll watch some of it and I'll see, Whack 100 or Brick Baby or whatever getting into it with some. The other day I saw Brick Baby screaming at somebody on the phone that he has more unalivings than
You
he
saw that?
has fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Adam 22 has the phone right there, and he's egging it on. Uh, and really, I was about to make a decision to start coming after Adam 22 and Vlad TV. These what I believe to be oftentimes culture vultures.
Exactly.
Oftentimes,
Exactly.
Black people have come up. Just speaking about my people right now, we
Mhm.
have invented a lot of stuff in this country, and oftentimes white people then come along and usurp it. They come along and take credit for what we invented.
Mm.
There was really Black people that Elvis Presley got his whole persona from, his
Mm.
whole dance, his whole style of music. It really originated with Black people. People don't know this because they usurped it and made it their own. So
Mhm.
when you think rock and roll, you think white people. But the fact is, Black people really originated rock and roll. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with these platforms. Black people have a certain idealistic tone.
Mhm.
Black people, they have a certain agenda. These gangs on YouTube, these YouTube beefs or whatever. Then someone like Adam 22 comes along and he sees this. He sees, the separation between us, and it's easy to exploit it.
Absolutely.
If we're separated and we're divided, we are not as strong, right? And when we're divided like that, someone can easily come in and manipulate the situation, particularly if we are not mentally aware of what's
Mhm.
going on. It's like sometimes my people, unfortunately, we can be brainwashed, bro, and believe that the white man's ice is colder.
Oh,
No,
we.
no, his ice is the same as my damn ice. It's the
Yeah, yeah,
same
yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah.
temperature, bro.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
so you would think that what comes out of Vlad's mouth or Adam's mouth is the gospel, but the whole time they have an ulterior motive, which is
Absolutely.
to stoke this separation amongst us, and that keeps them employed.
Mhm.
And
I've mentioned that several times. Like when I only do it kind of like when it irritates me really. And I've asked the question as far as when is the Black community gonna realize the damage that Adam 22 is trying to cause the Black community? In a video, I did the video, I released it this morning, I believe it was on my other channel, and he's talking Adam 22, a visitor. He came from New Hampshire and has an office space in the street gang capital of the world, Los Angeles County. And he's clowning about other gang members or dudes that were gang members that have DPs coming now for talking about his channel. Who the fuck is he to come in and foment that type of violence against Black men who are trying to better themselves and aren't in the streets no more, talking about they got to report to their hoods to get a DP for talking about us? That blew my mind.
talking about No Jumper.
Yeah, for talking about Adam 22, for having conversations about that it blew my mind, Holmes. It's
Okay,
on my
so we just had this conversation about Adam 22. I just said what I said. So now I might have to report to the Hoovers and get a DP for my home.
but
Is that how this shit going?
but the audacity for this dude to feel like, I don't know who, like look, I'm gonna just say, is Brick Baby making him feel that confident? Like, Brick Baby has problems with this, and shout out to the 60s. We done time with a lot of 60s, and why starting in YA for me, right? For you, the halls and everything else, the streets even for you. But man, I know some solid cats from 60s. I don't see how any type of way any employee at No Jumper is making Adam 22 feel that confident to talk about gang members, dudes in the streets, and what they should and shouldn't be doing to their own homeboys because of his feelings.
Yeah.
Wow.
I haven't seen that video. As I said, I don't know a lot about No Jumper, just a couple of things that's been popping up on my feed and stuff that I've been hearing, like just keeping my ear to the street about the stuff that was going on with C-Mac and Brick Baby and Whack 100, whatever little beefs they all got going on. So I haven't really been paying attention, but I think I'm gonna start paying attention, and I'm going to have to respond because I'm going to disallow anyone, someone from the outside, to come in and foment and stoke violence amongst my people. I've seen it too much where because he says it is true and we go at each other while he sits back and reaps the benefits of us demoralizing and injuring each other. And
you should,
as a man and as a black man and as a strong man and as someone who cares about his people, I can't see that and stay silent. If I see this sort of manipulation going on, then I'm going to come out against it.
Yeah, no, and I think you, Chill, and Cartoon, since I want to talk about the three you guys with your numbers, the eyes you guys have on you guys. I think it, because look, there's a channel called Point and Shoot. Shout out to Point and Shoot. Point and Shoot, the majority of his content is exposing Adam and everybody at No Jumper, right?
Yeah.
But he's not from your community, and I think it should be people in your community, because I get tired of certain shit and I'll do a video, but I'm not of your community. And Adam in recent months has been trying, he has an obvious disdain for Southerners. Obvious, because when American Cholo and them went over there over the Tyga video and all that, he didn't like it. They rolled in there pretty damn deep. He didn't like it. He felt like he got bullied. So recently he started doing things with Mexican rappers, and they made comments talking about the Northern rappers. So boom, what do you think happened next? He brought some Northerners. He saw perfect opportunity to stoke some hatred, some vitriol, as well as to build up his content. Hey, his views are shit. For having 4 million subscribers and to get like 50,000 views on a video, that's horrible. Right. But anyways, look, we've been on here over a half hour. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know the inside story has to be told today at some point.
Coming up, people.
Hold up. I saw you on Camp Capone talking about you want to fucking fight me, fool.
I've been wanting
hey, everybody, they wanted to hear, they're going to talk about the fight. Fuck that fight, man. Me and this guy were cool. Something happened over fucking 30 years ago. We got down, and right after that, we were cool again. So everybody that keeps bringing that shit up.
I told him in my other video, I mean, that's how I grew up. That's how a lot of us grew up in the gang neighborhoods. You get into it with your homeboy, have a fight, and then you at his house that night, sleeping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's his mother cooking you a plate of food later on that night. Y'all grew up together, y'all boys. You know what I mean? Y'all just had a disagreement. Someone took umbrage to something. Y'all resolved it, and then you move on. It's really petty. It's really feminine characteristics to carry on for years. Something that should have been resolved a long time ago.
Yeah. And with us it was, but so many people hate me that they want to, bring it up to you to try to get you. It's shit's funny to me. The shit don't work. Like I've told you behind the scenes, these are dudes that never lived our lifestyle. They didn't go through what we went through, and they're trying to live it through YouTube. It's a trip. Social media lets people be what they want to be. But the difference, there's a lot of differences, but a big difference is I see your face right now on camera. I hear your voice. You see mine. You hear my voice. These dudes put up a profile picture that's the letter P, the letter J.
Right.
They ain't trying to be seen. You know what I'm saying? We go out in the public. you know, but that's why I keep that positive energy. It's an important thing. Before I go, I want to say once again, you see it on the bottom of the screen. Check out the Inside Story with Damian Porter. Subscribe to his channel. You got anything you want to say before we go?
No, I appreciate you, Dub. Shout out to you. Shout
Mhm.
out to your channel. And yeah, subscribe to my channel, man. Trying to expand my content, y'all. Tap in.
There you go. You got
Appreciate
anything
you, brother.
coming out today? Do you know
Yeah,
what you're putting out today?
today is basically just gonna be a follow-up video to what I did yesterday, which was the Do-Rock and the East Coast is getting into it, and so I'm just gonna do essentially a follow-up video to that. But soon I have other content coming up that I'm working on right now behind the scenes that I think is gonna hopefully catch on, son.
Okay, there you go. All right, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you liked the video. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.